We're going to be going over how to populate a bean in a Java config file. And we're going to be doing this in our IoT bean configure.java, so the entire configuration here. In the next video, link below the like button, in the description, we're going to be going over this same thing but for an XML concept. A feature of our source file is that we are going to have these setters inside of here. So we have a set device, set description, set device, set description. So we set these methods that are in our IoT device right here. Well, what if we want to do that? Because ideally inversion control is for a program which has a dependency to not worry about instating that dependency. So we don't need to instantiate these things inside of here. We shouldn't have to. We want all the work of our instantiation to be moved to our IoT device bean config file, which is going to be this one right here, which I have put in all of this information. Previously, if we take all of this out, which is what we did not have, we used to have something that looks like this. And then inside of here, all we would do basically is we would instantiate the bean, and then we would return the actual IoT device like instance. And then once all that is done inside of here, we would cast it as a bean and then finish return it. So scrolling back up here, this is what we have now. We have our @bean. We have to change our names. So we have the name, we have our fridge, we have our init bean, and we have our destroy. So we have these three. We have these three down here as well. It's going to be the same thing. The only thing is the difference is the different naming right here, and that's because we're going to have two different instances, two different beans. So that's going to be for a dishwasher and for a fridge. We can see that inside of our method now, what we're doing, instead of previously just returning our new IoT device, so basically just returning a new class, and instead of doing that, we're actually going to be setting things inside of here. We make an instance of this class, we set things, and then we just return this class. And that's going to get picked up in our main.java. So we can comment all of these out because we've already set it. We don't need to set this again. We can use the same configuration that we used in the previous video, link below the like button. And then we're going to just print that we are retrieving instantiated beans. Remember, when we use the annotation configure application context, we're already going to make like instances, which is why we have these object created successfully. And then we also have, if we check our IoT device file, we have our init bean because it's a constructor, and this is all what we're doing when we instantiate our actual bean right here. So that's going to get printed out, retrieving instantiated beans, and then we are going to do the sysout.println bean1 and bean2 because we are going to be calling this right here. So this is going to set our my IoT device bean1, which is going to be inside of here. We should actually be changing the name. So the name should be fridge bean, and we should make sure that we have the appropriate quotes, and then this one should be dishwasher bean. So these are the names that we're going to want to use here. Now we could also use the method names, which is what I believe I had just had, and I replaced them, but these work as well for the name since they're arguments. So these are going to be stored in bean1 and bean2 respectively. We have to cast it as an IoT device because it returns an object, and then we're just going to print these out. And then we want to close this, which is going to run our destroy bean right here. So we can go to our main, and we can click run. And this is injecting the beans into our main.java without any instantiation. So we can see it's the same output right here, same thing. All we did was just change the names because we can either use the ones that we cast as name here, the arguments, or the ones that are actual in the methods. So that's how we would do this for populating a bean file using our annotation configuration. Next, we're going to be looking at our XML, but that'll be in the playlist link below the like button.